The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. Bet $100 at WynnBET and get a $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by SGPN Fantasy. Dominate your draft with the free SGPN Draft Kit. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/draft kit. And the free roll football contest is back, and it's better than ever. $5,000 up for grabs in our NFL contest and $1,500 in our brand new college football contest. Sign up exclusively in our Discord at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Welcome, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Thursday, 5:35 on the East Coast, here to dig into the Friday schedule in Major League Baseball. We're going to give you out our picks as we usually do every single day, and joining me are the young guns of the MLB Gambling Podcast, both of my guys on the East Coast, Central area, Great Lakes. You already know them. First, it's my main man, Dylan Rockford. Dylan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Opened the day off with my lock of the day. Mariners cashed easily, winning 7-0. So it was nice to hit that. Finally get back on the winning side of things.
Yeah, I took the run line in that game, so that came in absolutely easily, like you mentioned. Logan Gilbert was absolutely fantastic. They took care of business early in that game. So glad to start the day off with a winner there. And also joining us in the Great Lakes area, if you're watching the YouTube stream, he has the Timmy Trumpets. That was awesome to see, but it's Noah Beanick. Noah, what's going on, buddy?
I still can't get over that, Dylan. That was hype yesterday.
Honestly, not even just him performing that. Brandon Nimmo robbing the home run was even better.
That was a sick catch too.
That was pretty awesome. Dylan, have you seen that in person, the trumpets, or heard like?
No, I wish. I was looking at the prices, and they were so expensive to go yesterday. Jacob deGrom was going, and they were playing the Dodgers. It was a lot of money to go to the game. I couldn't go, but a few of my buddies went, and they said it was electric.
Yeah.
Well, Timmy Trumpet was there on Tuesday, and the Dodgers spoiled that. So he said, my plane doesn't leave till Thursday, so I'll come one more time on Wednesday.
And he's going to come perform it at the World Series, he said. Dude, he's a diehard Met fan.
He should, dude. That's so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching the highlights last night between the Dodgers and the Mets game, and, Dylan, you're correct, man. That atmosphere is absolutely amazing, and I saw that catch by Brandon Nimmo. That was probably maybe one of the catches of the year, the robberies of the year, we can say, this season in MLB. But yeah, I think that if these two teams do get to the NLCS, it's going to be very, very high rated TV for sure between the Dodgers and the Mets. A lot of great pitching matchups and pitcher batter matchups as well. So hopefully we get that in the NLCS this year. Anything else going on, guys, before we get into the games? Noah, you see anything that kind of stuck out to you?
So there was two kids that actually were called up. There was actually quite a few September call-ups.
Yep.
Corbin Carroll, one, he's like 5'10", super speedster over there at Arizona, their top prospect. Can hit the ball really hard. He actually hit like a 430-foot double, which is like borderline impossible depending on the stadiums that you play at. Yeah. And Chase Field just happens to be one of those. So he was one. Gunnar Henderson, the shortstop over Baltimore, home run in his second career MLB at bat. Get him a helmet that fits. Come on. He swung and just flew off. But I mean, dude, that is a clip that's just never going to die. I don't think. That's so sick. Just the locks flowing as he's running around the bases for the first time. Then you also have Michael Talia, big power bat at first base for the Colorado Rockies. Blasts a home run to just completely spoil the Braves run line last night for the backers. So, I mean, it's tough to watch, but good for the kid in his first MLB game, I believe, too. So that, I think, is it for me.
Yeah, I think those were the main things that I saw last night as well. Especially you talked about, Gunnar coming up for the Orioles, and that's going to be an exciting club, going forward.
Yeah, it is.
They have a lot of good pieces. Adley Rutschman, we've talked about a lot this season, so it's going to be exciting.
They are even more exciting than I think last year's San Francisco Giants team.
Yeah, they won 100 some games last year, but I think just if we're talking from like a pure talent standpoint and like just young players that you're excited to watch, like up and coming in MLB, I think Baltimore right now has two of those guys definitely on their team, so it's going to be fun times for Baltimore fans. Finally, hopefully the tide is finally starting to turn for them to being a competitor in MLB. All right, gentlemen, let's get into these games for the Friday schedule. Let's start it off with the first game on the board, and that's going to be the 6:35 Eastern start. It's going to be the Toronto Blue Jays in Pittsburgh take on the Pirates. Alek Manoah takes the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays, and for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Johan Oviedo takes the mound. Looking at the lines for this game right now, the Toronto Blue Jays are a heavy favorite of minus 245 on the money line, plus 205 on the money line for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Over under set at 8 with a little bit of vig towards the over at minus 115. Run line minus 1.5, minus 145 for the Blue Jays, and plus 1.5, plus 125 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Let's see here. Dylan, I'll let you lead this one off, buddy. What we got for the Pirates and the Blue Jays?
Yeah, I'm probably not going to play this one just because it's hard to get value here with either side, even on the run line. So slight lean towards the over. I made my total 8.3. The Blue Jays, they've gone over this number in 4 of their last 5 games, but I do worry if the Pirates can contribute any runs in this one. The good news is that the Blue Jays have lost 4 straight games Manoah has started. So if the Pirates can somehow scratch out maybe a few runs off of him, I think the Blue Jays can get the rest. So I'm going to lean over here.
Noah, what do you got for this game?
There's 2 ways to look at this and try to handicap Alek Manoah here. He is a West Virginia grad. Toronto is in town in Pittsburgh on the weekend of the Backyard Brawl, and the Blue Jays have an off day here on Thursday. So he will be at the game. I asked Johnny Junta. He's my source. He said confirmed. I wouldn't doubt that an MLB player wouldn't be able to get a box at his alma mater's game in the biggest rivalry game for their team. I'm wearing a Pitt hat. Obviously, it's a huge game. First time these 2 rivals are playing in like 11 years or whatever. But he is, a mountaineer. They get shit-faced. If they win, what's going to happen here? Is he going to be a professional or is he going to be an amateur? 1. And 2, if he is a professional, he's going to have a ton of fans backing him the next afternoon before the West Virginia fans leave, because I assume that they're just going to crash and pit. He's going to have a ton of fans there. So he might show up. Might be a K-prop day, might be a team total under day for the Pirates. Just a couple of different ways to attack the pitcher of Manoah. But if you're looking at the game in general, I think there's value on the Pirates money line here.
Yeah, we talk about Alek Manoah. He's been pretty consistent, 6-3 on the road so far this season, 2.52 ERA. But I think that one thing that does concern me is what Dylan mentioned there, is that he has, at least the Blue Jays have lost 4 straight games when he has started. But over his last 3 games, he hasn't gotten that run support. They've scored a combined 4 runs over those last 3 games. They've won 4-2, 4-2, and then they've lost 4-2, 4-2 twice, and then 2-0 against the Angels. So, at a north of a $2 price, especially on the road, that's something I don't want to get behind. So again, gun to my head, I probably agree with Noah. Maybe we do. Sorry, with Dylan there, that we do get some runs in this game. Pirates are a feisty bunch, right? We saw them, give the Brewers in their last series some competition, and I think they can do that against the Toronto Blue Jays here as well. Next game on the board, it's going to be a 6:40 Eastern start. The Colorado Rockies head to Cincinnati to take on the Reds. Kyle Freeland on the mound for the Colorado Rockies, and Luis Cisa is on the mound for the Cincinnati Reds. Looking at the lines for this game, I do not currently see lines available for this game, but we can still talk out the pitchers. Or Dylan, if you want to lead off with this, give your lines for it, and then Noah can give the handicap.
Yeah, so for my lines, I made the Rockies a short -105 favorite, -105, -1.5, +150. Reds +105, +1.5, -150. I made my total 9 on the dot. There you go, Noah.
All right. No, what do
So
you got for this
yeah,
game, if anything?
Yeah, slight lean towards the Rockies. They've been playing better ball as of late, so I would lean here with the Rockies. They just scare me on the road. They're just awful on the road. But slight lean to the Rockies. They did sweep the Reds the last time they did play them. So gun to my head, just like you said, I would take the short number depending on what it comes out to. I only made them a short number. If we're able to get a big plus price, maybe you sprinkle a little on the Reds.
No, what do you got?
I tacked the total here. Small travel spot for the Rockies here Thursday night going into Friday from Atlanta to Cincinnati. Kyle Freeland's on the mound, 7-9 this year, 48 ERA, 101 strikeouts, 44 walks, and 142 innings pitched. He has an August ERA of 6.17. And then you look at Cincinnati's starter Luis Cessa. He's 3-2. 5.36 ERA, 32 strikeouts, 16 walks, and 43.2 innings pitched this year. He has 2 appearances as a starter. He has a 5.63 in those games against the Phillies and the Nationals. The wind is blowing in tomorrow by a good bit. The total's not out yet. In this shoebox with 2 bad pitchers, I don't really even care about the wind. I'm still thinking about taking the over here because tough starters and then rough bullpens. I just think there's going to be some runs scored.
Yeah, I think that Rockies are kind of in a tricky spot here as well. They're going from Atlanta into Cincinnati, and Cincinnati, I believe, have the day off here on Thursday.
They did.
So I think a little bit of advantage there for the Cincinnati Reds. But again, these are 2 pitchers I really can't get behind either one of them. You talked about Kyle Freeland on the road so far this year. He's 3-5, 3.62 ERA. So he's been better on the road for the Rockies for sure compared to his home ERA, which is at nearly double at 6.10. But yeah, I think that if we do get a home puppy here in the Cincinnati Reds, I think that's where I would be maybe to take a look at the Reds in this game. But again, this is one of the uglier games as well on the schedule here. So gun to my head, I would probably go Reds. Next game on the board, gentlemen, it's going to be a 7:05 Eastern start between the Oakland A's and the Baltimore Orioles. A low-key, pretty good pitching matchup here. J.P. Sears on the mound for the Oakland A's and Dean Creamer on the mound for the Baltimore Orioles. Looking at the opening lines for this game, I'm currently seeing the Baltimore Orioles are a -170 home favorite, +145 on the money line for the Oakland A's. Over under set at 8 with a little bit of vig towards the over at -115. Run line -1.5, +120 for the Baltimore Orioles, and +1.5, -140 for the for the Oakland A's. Let me start here with J.P. Sears, and he's been absolutely incredible so far since he's been pitching for the Oakland A's on the season. He has a record of 5-1 with a 2.28 ERA, 26 strikeout, 13 walks over his last 5 games, 2-1 with a 2.96 ERA. His last start came against the New York Yankees, where he did go 6 innings, allowed 3 earned runs, did allow 4 walks in that game, struck out 3 batters. The Oakland A's have actually won 2 of his last 3 starts when he has started. And looking at the pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles, Dean Creamer, 6-4. 3.24 ERA over his last 5 games. He's also been incredible. 3-1 with a 2.25 ERA at home this season. His record is 2-2 with a 3.16 ERA. I think we're getting 2 good pitchers on the mound here, which kind of led me to really like the under in this game. I know the A's, they've been feisty. They're not winning games, but they can put up runs. But I think this is an opportunity for the Orioles where they're back at home in Camden Yards, where that's a team where I'm comfortable backing at home. Now I don't want to lay the -170 price, but I do really like the pitching matchup here. I think that both of these guys can really contain the offenses of the other team. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that JP is a left-handed pitcher for the Oakland A's. And I just want to quickly look at the WRC plus numbers against left-handed pitching For the
they're below average, I believe.
yeah, they're number 29 over the last 2 weeks in WRC plus. So I really do like the under in this game between these two pitchers and two teams. But Dylan, what do you got for this game between the A's and the Orioles?
Yeah, same thing. Diving under in this game. I made my total 7.6. Two solid pitchers, like you said. In this one, Kramer and Sears. The Orioles, they've won 5 of Kramer's 6 starts at home, and all of the starts besides one have gone under the total. Now, JP Sears, he hasn't been bad this season. He's faced the Orioles twice when he was with the Yankees earlier in the year. Both games went under the total. 3 of his 4 starts on the road have gone under. So usually when both of these pitchers are on the mound, we see lower scoring games. Orioles, last 10 games, 1-9 toward the under. They're just playing really low scoring games at Camden Yards, Hitters Ballpark. Give me the under.
All right. Noah, what do you got?
You guys handicapped this one great, going with the under as well. And is Camden Yards a Hitter's Ballpark still? They moved that left field wall
They moved it back and
feet,
they moved the wall
and
up.
they're
Yeah, I
not
hate
hitting
that they
as
did
many home runs out of there anymore as they used to. So I actually think it's one of the better ballparks in the AL East now. It's not much of a shoebox as the rest of the other divisions parks. So my pick on the side too is the Orioles. I think it's still a bettable price at. I'm seeing it minus 170 in front of me on Tally site. I don't know where Munaf read his off, but I think that's like bettable, or you can throw that into a little parlay as well. It's reasonable. I'll say that against the Athletics.
All right. Before we get over to the next game for the night, let me tell you guys about our presenting sponsor, WinBet. Thinking of joining WinBet? Now is the perfect time. New customers who bet $100 get a $100 free bet. If you're betting baseball, you have to check out WinBet. Their reduced juice in baseball games makes them the best place to bet MLB. Plus, the WinBet casino is always open 24 hours a day, where you can get a 100% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. Win also just released their first quarterback with 5 touchdown prop bets. There's so much to choose from. All you have to do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet so they know that we sent you. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WINNBET to claim your free bet today. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 21 years or older in a state where playthrough WinBet is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. We're also brought to you by OddsTrader. What is OddsTrader? OddsTrader is a place to compare odds from all major sports books. You can also compare the different sign-up codes or promotions from sports books to get the best deal. The app also provides player statistics, key game stats, injury reports, and projected game day weather for bettors to make the most informed bets possible. It also has a bet tracker so bettors can keep records of all the games that you're betting on and your betting activity. So to take advantage of this, all you got to do is go to oddstrader.com/bluewire. That's oddstrader.com/bluewire. OddsTrader, the #1 site for all your game day bets. And the free roll football contests are back for the football season. College football contest has $1,500 up for grabs. The NFL contest, $5,000 and a 2-night stay at Wynn Las Vegas for up for grabs. But how can you get involved? Only exclusively on the SGPN Discord. How do you get there? It's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. All right, guys, let's get over to the next game of the night. 7:10 Eastern start. It's going to be the Kansas City Royals in Detroit to take on those Tigers. Daniel Lynch on the mound for the Kansas City Royals and Drew Hutchinson on the mound for the Detroit Tigers. Looking at the lines for this game, I'm currently seeing the Detroit Tigers a slight home favorite of -115, -105 on the money line for the Kansas City Royals. Over under is set at 8.5. And the run line is +1.5, -190 for the Detroit Tigers, and -1.5, +160 for the Kansas City Royals. Dylan, why don't you lead us off with this game between the Royals and the Tigers?
Yeah, this game was kind of hard to handicap, but Noah, you'll be happy with me. I ended up taking a shot with the Tigers here at home. They did just get swept by the Mariners, but the Royals, they haven't been playing all that better, in my opinion, either. So between these two pitchers, it's pick your poison. But I'd rather back Hutchinson at home. He hasn't pitched all that bad. The Tigers just can't get him any run support. So I think if the Tigers can scratch a few runs together like they were able to do in that Rangers series, I think they could win this game. I think Hutchinson's been serviceable at home. So Give me the Tigers here to snap their losing streak.
Noah, what do you got?
Yeah, for both of you guys on the NFL Gambling Podcast, just get used to the name Hutchinson in Detroit sports. I'll say that. But yeah, he does pitch okay at home. 4.46 home ERA. And he has a 3.05 ERA in August. I know it's September 1st, but it's still a good stat to look at. Last 5 starts basically for most of these pitchers. So for me, the big thing, though, is Daniel Lynch is a southpaw, and Detroit over the last month has hit left-handed pitching pretty well. Now, I'm not going to say they're great against it because the offense is just lifeless regardless, but they are significantly better against lefties than righties. So if you are going to bet this game, I would advise you not to, but the Tigers on the money line would be my pick. You know that if the books are making them a favorite, it is for a reason.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that because the Royals they haven't been terrible. I'll say it that way. You talk about Detroit against left-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks, they have been better what they have been over the road. Over the past 2 weeks, they've been better is what I'm trying to say against left-handed pitching. Have the Tigers, and I think you're right that the indication here is that the market is suggesting that even though a Detroit Tigers team that has been, god awful this season, that they're making them a slight favorite at home, even against a Royals team. I think that kind of speaks volumes there. So I'm leaning with the Tigers in this game as well. And I like what Dylan mentioned there is that Hutchinson has been serviceable at home, but he just hasn't gotten that run support, right? Like you take a look at his last game, 5 innings, he only allowed 1 earned run, but the Tigers only scored 1 run. Prior to that, against the Guardians, they lost that game 3-2. He went 5 innings, only allowed 3 earned runs. Got in a little bit of trouble against the Rays, but again, they're just not producing runs for him. So I think there's an opportunity for the left-handed pitcher coming into town that they can, get him some runs and get him a victory here at home. So I'll take the slight home favorite here as well with Drew Hutchinson on the mound against the Kansas City Royals. Next game on the board, gentlemen, it's going to be the New York Yankees headed down to South Florida to take on the Tampa Bay Rays, 7:10 Eastern start. I am currently seeing Domingo Germán on the mound for the New York Yankees, but let me double check another side, see if there's a pitcher for the Rays. Yeah, I think I see Jeffrey Springs. Is that what you guys have?
Yeah, I got Jeffrey Springs.
I didn't see one, so I'll go with Springs with you guys.
Okay. Yeah, I see Jeffrey Springs. There is a line for this game. I'm currently seeing the Rays are a -125 home favorite, +105 on the money line for the New York Yankees. Over under set at 7 with a little bit of juice towards the over at -115. Run line -1.5, +175 for the Tampa Bay Rays, and +1.5, -205 for the New York Yankees. For this game, Noah, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, Springs has actually been great as a replacement in the starting rotation for the Rays. He is 6.4 on the year, 2.76 ERA, 110 strikeouts, 23 walks, and 101 innings pitched. And Tampa Bay, they're 9-2 in their last 11 games. As we all know, the Yankees are slumping, and they only lead the Rays by 6 games in the NL East. Hard to believe, but they have caught up. And I mean, the Tampa Bay Rays were my preseason prediction to win the AL East. So go Rays. But Domingo Germán for the Yankees on the mound, 2-2, 3.19 ERA, 31 strikeouts, 9 walks, and 42.1 innings pitched. In August, he pitched great with a 2.35 ERA. I didn't have a pick without knowing Springs, but now knowing Springs, I'm on the Rays money line here, guys.
Yeah, I'm there with you. You mentioned the numbers with Jeffrey Springs, how he's been so good ever since he's kind of stepped into the starting rotation for the Rays, and over his last 3 games, 3-1, 2.93 ERA. He's faced the Yankees twice this season. 11 innings pitched, only allowed 3 earned runs at home, 2-2 with a 2.18 ERA. And Domingo Germán, since he's returned, winless on the road so far. The ERA has been great for him, but again, just not translating to wins on the road for him. They are 0-2. Small sample. I just kind of like this spot here for the Tampa Bay Rays. So I'm going to take the money line on this game as well with you there, Noah. Dylan, what do you got?
Yeah, team ride, fading the Yankees again. Give me the Rays here on the money line. I made them a -120 favorite. I just don't like the way this Yankee team has been going. They split the series against the A's, which they should have won. They lost 2 or 3 from the Angels. Last night, Garrett Cole looked frustrated. He called out one of the best defensive shortstops in IKF, which he made one error. And I just don't like the way it's going. Noah put that video out. Like, you don't want your own teammates calling you out or doing hand signals when you mess up. So this team just doesn't look right in my eyes. I can't back them on the road against the Rays, who are 42-23 at home. They're very good at home. Springs at home, he's been great as well. He won 3 of his last 4 games in Tampa. He just beat the Yankees in the Bronx a few weeks back. I think he'll do it again in St. Petersburg. Give me the Rays.
I will say I put the video out about the Tigers and the backup first baseman showing up our best pitcher. It's a little bit of a different case for the Yankees. Cole kind of has some kind of say there. He is, although he hasn't pitched great, he is the best pitcher on that staff, and he should be stepping up in the locker room, in the clubhouse, and be one of the top voices over there. Although he may not be performing like that, he needs to be some kind of leader over there.
Yeah, you're not going to get anything good out of me about the Yankees, so I'm not. I don't have anything nice to say. Don't say that.
I have something that I could add. Like, I love what the college experience does when they get like a triple lock or something. They get music. We have a song now. We could go with Timmy Trumpet and then just blare trumpets when we all have the same pick.
The team ride. Let's do it.
Team Trumpet.
That could be sick.
Yeah, Team Trumpet. That's what we're gonna have to do. All right,
we got to get a soundboard and just
there's a project for you, Noah. We have a team ride.
I'm in. I'm
drop
so
the cue
for that. Okay.
All right, let's get over to the next game for the night, guys. We've got let's go with the Seattle Mariners. They're headed to Cleveland to take on the Guardians, a 7:10 Eastern start. Luis Castillo on the mound for the Mariners, and Zach Plesac takes a mound for the Cleveland Guardians. Looking at the lines for this game, I'm currently seeing Seattle Mariners are a -140 road favorite here, +120 on the money line for the Cleveland Guardians. Over-under set at 7.5, with juice towards the under at -115. Run line -1.5, +130 for the Seattle Mariners, and +1.5, -150 for the Cleveland Guardians. Castillo just has been really solid for this team since the trade deadline, since he was acquired by the Mariners from the Rays. Overall in season, 5-5 with a 2.85 ERA, 129 strikeouts, 36 walks. Overall on the road, 3-4 with a 2.82 ERA. Did face the Guardians in his last start, where he did go 6 innings and only allowed 1 earned run and struck out 10 batters. Unfortunately for the Mariners, they did lose that game. The bullpen gave it up. They lost that game 4-3. They are coming off a win, like we mentioned at the top of the show, where Dylan Cash's lock of the day. This team, they're healthy. They're getting hits. Julio Rodriguez, I think, hit another home run today for them, and he's been absolutely fantastic. And I like this Mariners team. Zach Plesac, 3-11 on the season so far, 4.39 ERA. Last 5 games hasn't been very pretty. 1-3 with a 5.46 ERA. At home this season, 1-4 with a 3.81 ERA. These two pitchers were the matchup in the last game, where Plesac went 7 innings in that matchup. He did allow 3 earned runs, and the 3 hits that he gave up were all home runs to the Seattle Mariners. I'm going to ride with the Mariners here. I like them on the money line here. Castillo on the mound. Again, they're fighting for – both the teams are fighting for playoff position. One is for a division, and the Mariners are fighting for that AL wildcard spot. But I trust Castillo a lot more here on the road versus Plesac at home, where he's 1-4 despite having a good ERA. But again, I'm going to go with the Mariners. I'm going to go with the hot hand. Give me the Seattle Mariners money line -140 with Castillo on the mound. Probably look at another K prop for Castillo, since he dominated this lineup for the Guardians in his last start. But Dylan, what do you got for this game between the Guardians and the Mariners?
Yeah, give me the Mariners here on the money line. I made them a -140 favorite. I see -134. I was able to grab a -120 early lines, but I won't make the same mistake I made last time taking the Guardians. But I just think the Mariners, they're playing better ball right now. They won again today. They just swept the Tigers. Sorry, Noah. And they've won 4 of the last 5 meetings between the Guardians this season. I just think this is a little revenge spot for Castillo. Like you mentioned, he pitched a really tight game against the Guardians in his last start. He only gave up 1 run in 6 innings. I think the Mariners will be able to score a few runs off Plesac. So give me the Mariners to bounce back here, a little revenge spot on the road.
Noah?
I like a close scoring or a low scoring close game between these two teams with these two pitchers on the mound. And Munaf, completely back you on a strikeout prop here. Luis Castillo has had at least 7 strikeouts in 8 of his last 10 starts. Most of the time, his prop is at like 6.5. I would love a prop like that at like minus 160 or less. So that's where I'm going to be at for this game. Seattle money line for me.
All right. Hey, another team ride. Cue the trumpets. Next game on the board here. I just lost it on my screen. Give me 1 second to get the schedule back up. Let's go with the Texas Rangers in Boston, in Fenway Park, to take on the Red Sox. 7:10 Eastern Star. Dallas Keuchel on the mound for the Texas Rangers, and Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Boston Red Sox. Looking at the lines for this game, I'm currently seeing the Red Sox a minus 180 home favorite, plus 155 on the money line for the Texas Rangers. Over under set at 10. And I'm seeing the run line here, minus 1.5, plus 105 for the Boston Red Sox, and plus 1.5, minus 125 for the Texas Rangers. I'm going to be honest here, guys. I did not handicap this game, and there's one reason why. I saw Dallas Keuchel on the mound, and I said, give me the Red Sox red line. So that is pretty much my handicap. I mean, how can you put your money behind Dallas Keuchel right now?
He just got blown up by the Tigers, too.
The
Tigers.
Tigers.
That is the worst offense in history.
By the Tigers. And now you're going up against a Red Sox team that has, I mean, their offense they turned it around again, that Minnesota Twins series. I think this is going to be a series between the Rangers and the Red Sox where you're going to see a lot of runs being put up. And I'm taking the Red Sox here. Again, Nick Pivetta, I'll get into his numbers. He's been pretty good at Fenway Park, let me see here. No, not at home. He hasn't been very good. 4-6 with 4.83 ERA. So I just think that there's going to be runs being put up in this game. And I think that they can, even though it's a big total, it is for a reason. Pivetta, 1-2 in his last 5 games with a 4.08 ERA. He did have a good outing against the Texas Rangers in a start earlier this year, but I believe that was on the road where he's had a lot more success. Yeah, it was 7 innings where he only gave up 3 hits and 1 earned run. And I'm looking at his splits right now compared to his home and road ERAs. And by far, on the road, I mean, not by far, but he's been a little bit better on the road so far this year for the Red Sox. But I'm taking the Red Sox team total in this game. Give me the Red Sox run line as well in this game. And look, I think that we do see runs being put up. So I think over 10 is a play for me here. But Dylan, I'm curious to what your numbers came out for this game.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I made the Red Sox well over minus 250 favorite because of Dallas Keuchel. I'll make this one quick. We're fading Dallas Keuchel in this spot. And his first game, like you guys said, the Tigers put up 7 runs on him. Now he has to go on the road to Fenway. Not a good spot for him. The Rangers, they've lost 4 in a row, and they're just not a team I want to back right now. And I know the Sox are 3-7 in their last 10. They're not playing well either, but I think they could turn it around here. This is a good spot for them. Pivetta, he's had success against the Rangers this year as well. So give me the Sox team total. Give me the over. I set my total at 10.4. I think we see a high-scoring game. Give me the Red Sox on the run line as well.
No, are we cueing the trumpets again?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit hesitant to play the total on the over, but the Red Sox money line, Red Sox run line all day long. And the longtime listeners on the pod for this year know that Keuchel is our guy. Last week wasn't just his first start of the season. It was his first start as a Ranger. He's also appeared as, I believe, a White Sox and a Diamondback this year.
Yep.
It's been brutal for him. Guys, I have a little bit of a trivia question for you. As you know, I'm somewhat of a fantasy savant, even though my team sucks this year in the D-Gens League. 762 pitchers have qualified an inning. For fantasy points rankings, where is Keuchel ranked?
Last.
762nd. Who's the pitcher ranked above him?
Oh,
it's another one of our favorite fades.
Kikuchi?
No.
Mitch Keller.
Kikuchi.
Patrick Corbin.
Oh, yeah. That one's slipped our mind. It's crazy. There's 2 left-handed pitchers.
We're completely fading Keuchel. Like, come on.
I would be very curious to see what the total would come out if Patrick Corbin and Dallas Keuchel were going up against each
11.
other. That would probably, and if they were in Coors Field as an exhibition game, that'd probably be at 15.
How is Dallas Keuchel keep getting a job?
Because he has that.
He has a Cy Young, right?
Yeah.
That's it. I think that's the only reason.
Yeah.
And that was what 2017 when the Astros won it.
He has the talent is there. Somebody just needs to take on the project and fix
not
it.
anymore.
It's
That's
not
just
there
what it
anymore,
is.
Noah.
Okay, so this is from me playing baseball growing up. This is what I always heard because I was a 5'8" kid. A kid with the height has to prove to you that he doesn't have the talent. The kid with no height has to prove to you that he does. It's like just if you have the tools, they think that they can do something with you. That's the same thing with Keuchel right now. They think that they can turn him back to the old Keuchel.
The year that he won the Cy Young, I believe Brett Strom was the pitching coach, and he actually went to Arizona to see if he could get it fixed, and it didn't even work for him there. So I think this guy is just absolutely broken for the rest of his career. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him next season.
It was big time.
Honestly, we should be hoping he gets a job so we can continue to make money off of him.
100%.
Yeah,
like, thank you, Rangers.
All right, let's get over to the next game of the night, gentlemen. We have
too much time was spent on that
too much time on the worst pitcher in the league. Let's go with the Washington Nationals in New York to take on the Mets. 7:10 Eastern start. I'm seeing Josiah Gray is going to be on the bump for the Washington Nationals. I believe I'm seeing David Peterson on the mound for the New York Mets.
Yeah.
See if I see lines for this game. I probably do not because the Mets are currently in action against the Dodgers. But let me refresh the page and see if we have some. We do not. So, Dylan, I'm going to throw this right to you, my man. If you have lines for this game, what you came up with, and if you want to give your handicap as well.
Yeah, so I made the Mets a -230 favorite, -1.5, -125. Nationals, same thing, reverse. I made my total 7.6. Think David Peterson bounces back. Tough start for him last outing, but just can't back the Nationals here right now. They're 4-6 in their last 10. The Mets have owned them in the head-to-head, and they've covered the run line in all of the games that they've won. So we could get a nice number on the Mets run line. I think I'll take the Mets because after this Dodgers series, I think we have a smooth sailing to the end of September. So I'm gonna take the Mets here on the run line, depending on the number.
Can we proclaim that Citi Field is a hitter's park or a pitcher's park?
It's a pitcher's ballpark, definitely.
Pitcher's ballpark. Okay.
I would consider it more pitcher than hitter.
Okay. No, what do you got for this game? No, I was just asking because Josiah Gray has been better on the road, but I think there was a start where he went into a hitter-friendly ballpark on the road, and he got it blown up. And I don't remember. I think it was against Philly, I want to say it was, where he got blown up. And I feel like those numbers are a little skewed. So if he is going into a hitter's ballpark, then I think that is an opportunity where he does get blown up. But since I think I agree with you guys that it probably is more of a pitcher's ballpark. And that's just something I want to throw out there. But no, what do you got for this game?
Completely with you guys on both plays. For me, I think that Peterson, he's been a little bit on and off, a little bit of a light switch guy, I like to say. But I think he goes a little bit better here than normal against a weak Nationals lineup. Dylan, how many Mets hitters get hit in this series by a pitch?
What's the number over under what?
Let's do 3.5, 1 per game.
Over.
Okay. Over. I wasn't it the Nationals that hit all the guys?
Always, we get hit because they don't like us. You know, they're jealous of the success. So you know, they just hit us.
They're not jealous of the success. They're just that was a misspeak. That was a misspeak. But yeah, whatever. I'm not going to finish the sentence now.
I'll lean with the Mets on the run line here as well. Again, you know, they looks like they are running away with the division, or maybe they're not. I haven't even checked the standings, but again, they got to pile up the wins against just crappy teams. And
I think they're 4 games up on the Braves. I think they're 4 games up on the Braves.
4 games is not that much.
Yeah,
4 games is not that much. Looking at the WRC plus numbers over the last 2 weeks, Washington number 20 and the Mets are number 20, or Mets are 25, but they're Josiah Gray's a right-handed pitcher. Just so Washington's the number 20, so well below league average in WRC plus at least. So yeah, I'll go run line on the Mets here as well. Anything else for this game, gentlemen?
Nah, not for me.
No, we need
All right, before we get over to the next game, let me tell you guys about a new sponsor here on the SGPN network. It's promoguy.us. Now, what is promoguy.us? For all you sports bettors out there, and you are obviously if you're listening to this MLB gambling podcast, I want to tell you about the new way to increase your bankroll. It's called promoguy.us. At promoguy.us, you can get the biggest bonuses from all the best sports books in the country. We're talking $1,000 risk-free deposits, insane odds boosts, and most importantly, the best analytics in the business. Plus, tons of free picks. Promoguy.us is your guide to betting smart. Once again, that's promoguy.us to take advantage of the biggest bonuses across all the sports books in the U.S. We're also brought to you by Sleeper. Sleeper is the fastest growing fantasy platform with millions of players. You probably already have a fantasy league on there, and we at SGPN, we use it for ours. It's a game-changing product unlike anything else in the industry, and now you can win on Sleeper by playing their new over-under game. Over-under has been integrated into the fantasy experience as well. The first sports contest game built into the fantasy experience. And not only can you enter a contest via over-under itself, but you can also do so through your fantasy league's matchup. For example, Patrick Mahomes, if he's your starting fantasy quarterback, and not only do you think you are going to win your fantasy matchup that week, you can also be as confident by taking the over on Patrick Mahomes to go over 250 passing yards line. And if you pick correctly, you can win anywhere from 2 times to over 20 times the money that you put in. And the main reason we're excited about over-under on Sleeper, it's the only app where I can join my buddies' contest and we can play together. It's got a built-in group chat where I can see and copy my friends' picks with a tap of a button. Insanely fun to ride it out together. Stop what you're doing and download Sleeper now to play their new over-under game. Have fun with your friends and make some money. So on your mobile device, join our listener group on Sleeper at sleeper.com/SGP, and Sleeper will automatically match your first deposit of up to $100. That's promo code SGP. Again, go to sleeper.com/SGP and you'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. And last but not least, we're also brought to you by Run Your Pool. Run Your Pool is the home of competition, bringing sports fans and their social circles together to compete, connect, and make every game matter more. Run Your Pool offers every game type under the sun, from Pick'em and Survivor to fantasy pools. It's a one-stop shop for sports gaming with customizable features you don't get anywhere else. And you're probably that guy at your workplace or in your office that has to put all the Survivor pools and the fantasy leagues together. Make it easy for yourself. Just check out Run Your Pool. They have so many great options. Like I said, they have customizable features, and let them do the work for you so you're not spending, Sunday nights going through the spreadsheets and having to update anything. Run Your Pool does all that for you. And not only that, SGP, we've teamed up with Run Your Pool for our official NFL Survivor contest. Hop in now to reserve your spot. Winner of the Survivor pool gets $500 in cash plus a $250 gift certificate to the SGPN store to the winner. Sign up today over at play.runyourpool.com/SGPN. That's play.runyourpool.com/SGPN. All right, gentlemen, let's keep the ball rolling here. We got the Miami Marlins headed to ATL to take on the Braves. It's going to be a 7:20 Eastern start. Sandy Alcantara on the mound for the Miami Marlins, and Uncle Charlie Morton on the mound for the Atlanta Braves. Looking at the lines for this game, I do not have lines for this game either. Dylan, if you want to give your lines out for this game first, and then we'll kick it over to Noah to give his handicap for this game.
Yeah, so I made the Braves a -135 favorite, -1.5, +160. Reverse, Marlins +135, +1.5, -160. Total, I made it at 6.1. I do think it'll be a lower scoring game. Hopefully, if we could get a high plus number with the Marlins, I'll take a shot here with the Fish with their ace on the mound.
All right. Noah, what do you got for this game?
I don't even think I need a high plus number. I like the Marlins in this spot. The Braves Their run line against the Marlins this year is 7-6, and actually of those 6 losses, they lost 5 of them outright to the Marlins. Sandy Alcantara, 12-6 on the year, 2.13 ERA, 167 strikeouts, 46 walks, and 185.2 innings pitched. He has a 0.57 ERA. Pitch against the Braves this year. And then taking the mound for Atlanta is Chucky Moe, 6-5 in the year, 4.10 ERA, 168 strikeouts, 50 walks, and 140.1 innings pitched. For me, I mean, I've experienced it firsthand. He's on my fantasy team. He's just too inconsistent. He often goes good start, bad start, good start. And for me, I just really like the reliable Alcantara here to give Miami a fighting chance. So I'm going to take them on the money line.
I mean, Alcantara has been absolutely killer against the Atlanta Braves this season. 2 starts, 17 innings pitched. He's only allowed 1 earned run. He has allowed 4 runs, but one of them was only earned. 21 strikeouts in that span as well. On the road, 4-3 with a 2.82 ERA. I really do like the under in this game as well. If we get a 6.5 or even a 7, I hope a 7 pops up. I'm taking the under on that.
Same.
I don't trust the Marlins offense. And then, like we just talked about, Alcantara has just been so good against the Braves. So I think it's a team right here on the under in this game, just depending on the number. But I also do like the Marlins. I think all of us are on that as well. Cue the trumpets again for this game, Miami Marlins. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I just wanted to say, depending on the price, I think Sandy through the first 5 could keep it a scoreless. Maybe they could scratch a run off of Uncle Charlie. So first 5 plus a half, because you think the Braves at home are definitely going to open up the favorite. So
yeah,
plus a half if you're getting good value here, I'll take that as well. But I really do like the under, especially if it opens at a 7.
Yeah. Yeah, let's pray with that. We do get that 7 because this Marlins offense, I mean, even against right-handed pitching, WRC, they're dead last. We know what they are against left-handed pitching as well, dead last. So the offense just has not been very good for the Miami Marlins. Next game on the board, gentlemen, it's going to be an AL Central clash between the Minnesota Twins and the Chicago White Sox. 8:10 Eastern start. Sonny Gray on the mound for the Minnesota Twins and Davis Martin on the mound for the Chicago White Sox. Looking for lines on this game. I'm currently seeing the Minnesota Twins are a slight road favorite here of -125. Home puppy here for the Chicago White Sox +105. Over under set at 8. Run line -1.5 +140 for the Minnesota Twins and +1.5 -165 for the Chicago White Sox. For this game, let's go over to myself. I'll kick it off here, gentlemen. Sonny Gray on the season so far, he's been pretty solid for the Minnesota Twins. 7-4 with a 3.04 ERA. On the road so far this year, 4-2 with a 3.15 ERA. Against AL Central opponents, 5-1 with a 2.66 ERA. And it's crazy to say that number is a little inflated as well because he did have 1 start against the Chicago White Sox this season where he got absolutely blown up. 3 2/3 innings pitched. He allowed 9 hits and 6 earned runs to the Chicago White Sox in that start. And I kind of want to go back and see when that game was for the Minnesota Twins and Sonny Gray. It was back on July 14th in Chicago as well. Take a look at Davis Martin for the Chicago White Sox. On the season, 2-4 with a 4.62 ERA at home, 0-1 with a 7.71 ERA. 11 2/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 10 earned runs in that span at home. His last start was against the Arizona Diamondbacks, where in 3 innings he allowed 3 earned runs, 5 runs overall, 4 walks to an Arizona Diamondbacks team. And he's been getting hit at home. His last 3 games have seen at least 10 runs being put up in each of those games for the Chicago White Sox. So the struggles that I am seeing from Sonny Gray, at least on the road and against the Chicago White Sox team, I think that this 8 number is a little conservative for me. I'm going to take the over in this game. No opinion on the side here. If I had to make a pick, I would probably go with the Minnesota Twins. But I think my favorite play in this game here, Dylan, is going to be the over 8. What do you got?
Yeah, I think the number is very low. I set my total at 8.9, so I do like the over. But I came down on the side. I do like the Twins here in this one. Malcolm and I talked a little about this yesterday, where we just can't back the White Sox right now. They did win last night, but they're 3-7 in their last 10. They're under 500. How Tony La Russa still has a job is beyond me. I just like the way the Twins have been playing recently. They won 4 of the last 5 games. Now they got their ace Sonny Gray on the mound, and I know he hasn't been the best on the road, but I do think they're the right side in this game. So I do like the over, and I also like the Twins.
I'm not sure if we're going to see TLR for the rest of the season because he's out indefinitely.
The White Sox are now 2-0 with Tony La Russa on his deathbed in Arizona. The White Sox
is he dying?
I don't know.
I don't know if he's dying, but he is out indefinitely with a medical condition.
They are 2-0 without TLR. 2-0.
Prayers for him.
Yeah, prayers up. Hopefully he somewhat recovers and the interim manager just takes over and takes the White Sox rocket ship that is just ready to go with a competent manager to the moon, because this is my AL Central team. They are not that far out of this race, and it is still winnable. The Guardians haven't ran away with it yet. The Twins don't look like they want to run away with it yet. It is the White Sox month in September with TLR in Arizona. Wow. He's just on a little bit of vacation. The franchise told him, hey, go take some time off. This White Sox team is coming around. They're 2-0 without him. We're going White Sox money line. Sonny Gray's slightly worse on the road. White Sox money line.
7-1 is what I see right now for them to come back and win this division in September. They're only 4.5 games out.
I have not been this high on a play since All-Star break. Cardinals, and look at what they're at right now. You have the page up. They're like minus 800. Right?
Yeah, and I'm quickly gonna see what their remaining schedule is. Let's see, 1, 2, 3.
It's
4,
AL
5,
Central.
6, 7,
it's
8.
the end of the year.
They have the 8th most easy schedule remaining.
I'm telling you, just jump on it.
What do you have, like 30 more games left? Something like that?
We have 31 games left. They're 4.5 out.
Oh, wow. There's a shot at plus 800 or 700?
I see a 7-1 right now.
I'm telling you.
Sprinkle a little on it.
I think we have to.
It's the Cardinals play, dude. It like the whole momentum in the last month. They have easy division opponents
on the White
to
Sox
finish off the season. It's the White Sox, dude. It is.
Let me see. Yeah, I'm starting to see.
Who is the interim manager? Who's going to be the hero?
Who is this guy?
I don't know who it is. Hold on. Let's see. Let's look it up here real quick. All right. You look it up and I'll get over to the next. So I think 2 of us are on the over here, 8, and then Noah. Miguel Cairo.
Yeah, he was also the manager in that epic Field of Dreams game that they had a walk-off in. TLR had COVID during that. So he has performed some miracles with this White Sox team before.
All right, I'm going to have to go to and put down something on that 7-1, guys. I mean, I think we kind of have to.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
At least.
All right. Let's see. Next game on the board is going to be the Chicago Cubbies headed to St. Louis to take on our Cardinals. And yes, they are our Cardinals. 8:15 Eastern start. Adrian Sampson on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. Jordan Montgomery on the mound for the St. Louis Cardinals. Looking at the lines for this game, I am currently seeing the Cardinals a heavy home favorite, minus 240 on the money line. 2-1 is the money line price for the Chicago Cubs. Over-under set at 8 with Vic towards the under at minus 115. Run line is minus 110 both ways at the minus 1.5 and plus 1.5 for this game. And I am going to let's see here. Who's going to lead this one off for me?
I'll do it.
Yeah, go for it, Dylan.
Yeah, give me the Cardinals here on the run line. Love the pitching advantage the Cardinals have in this game. Cardinals, they've won all 5 games Montgomery has started for them since coming over from the Yankees. They definitely won that trade. Not to mention, he just faced the Cubs last week, a few weeks back, excuse me. He went the full game. He only gave up 1 hit. He's been incredible for the Cardinals since coming over. Now, with Justin Steele, he did have a good August, but before then, he was just not the same pitcher on the road than at home. The Cardinals already beat him once. I think at home, this is just another good spot for them. Give me our Cardinals on the run line plus 110.
Is it Sampson or is it Steele?
I had Justin Steele. Okay, so
I have
now I'm
Samson.
seeing Samson. Now I see Samson. Okay.
Well, Samson has been even worse. I mean, he had a start.
Steele's
against
actually been pretty good lately.
Yeah,
so.
against the Cardinals this season. Let me see. He has an ERA of 7.56. And I think they have covered the run line in both of those games. Have the Cardinals, yeah. So,
Run line. Same.
yeah, 100% here. I love it. -1.5, -110 on the Cardinals. No argument from me here. Trumpet time, Noah.
Play the trumpets.
Let's go.
We got to get that soundbite in here somehow. We're gonna do it.
Yeah, and again, to clarify, with Jordan Montgomery being a left-handed pitcher, and again, you guys know I like looking at these WRC plus numbers. Left-handed pitching last 30 days, Marlins are number 30, Chicago Cubs number 29. So yeah, they're not getting it done against left-handed pitching. So I think this is a great spot here for the St. Louis Cardinals, as they have taken a commanding lead in that NL Central division. So hopefully our listeners got down on some plus money. Before that's now skyrocketed up to -700 for the St. Louis Cardinals. All right, gentlemen, 4 games left on the schedule. Let's get into it. West Coast games. Houston Astros in LA to take on the Angels. 9:38 Eastern start. Lance McCullers Jr. on the mound for the Houston Astros, and Reed Detmers on the mound for the Los Angeles Angels. Looking at the lines for this game, I'm currently seeing the Astros a road favorite here of -165, +140 on the money line for the Angels. Over under set at 7.5. with juice towards the over at -120. Run line +1.5, -125 for the Angels, and -1.5, +105 for the Houston Astros. Noah, why don't you lead us off with this game between the Astros and the Angels?
I'd be glad to. Okay, so we have the Astros, who are 7-2 in their last 9 games, but the Angels, they've won 5 of the last 6 against the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Starting for Houston is Lance McCullers Jr., 1-1 in 3 starts in 2022. He has a 1.69 ERA, 13 strikeouts, 10 walks in 16 innings pitched. For the Angels is my guy, Reed Detmers, the lefty out of Louisville, 5-4, 3.47 ERA, 99 strikeouts, 39 walks in 103.2 innings pitched. He has a 3.33 ERA in August and a 2.19 ERA in his last 8 starts. With the way that these Angels have been playing lately, it doesn't match their price. Give me Detmers, my dog, to go out there and shove and cash as an underdog.
Okay. Dylan, what do you got?
Yeah, so I was actually I'm seeing 8s up, but I was able to get 7.5. No real opinion on this side. A slight lean to the over. I made my total 7.8. The number was just a little too low for me at 7.5. I think we could see some runs being put up from both teams. The Angels have went over this number in 3 of their last 5 games. In the last 5 meetings between these two teams, the total has gone over in 3 of them. So pretty good start for Lance, only allowing 3 runs combined in his first 3 starts. But the Angels, they've been able to score some runs here of late. We got 6-mile-an-hour winds blowing out of center field as well. So I think we could see some runs. Give me the over here.
Yeah, Astros number 2, WRC plus over against left-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. And again, I said this, I think it was a little early on the Angels offense finally turning it around from what we were used to seeing without, Trout and Fletcher and those guys in the lineup. And now they have them back, pair that with Ohtani. I think that, runs are going to be starting, or they're going to start scoring some runs here. So I think I do like the over 7.5. I still see that posted at some books here. So definitely I would jump on that before it does move to 8, like Dylan mentioned. As far as the side, -165 price. I understand why it is. I'm sorry for the Astros, but I don't know. I'm not comfortable laying a -165 money line price with the team on the road, despite how good the Astros are against the Angels. So I love the over 7.5 in this game.
I will say this
between the Astros and Angels. Yeah, what do you got?
On sportsgamblingpodcast.com, go to MLB Picks, our page. Me and Malcolm are often on it for a lot of games. Moonoff and Dylan as well. For me, I think I'm on the under.
Okay.
I like Detmers. I think he's going to go out there and do pretty well. And McCullers, in his last 5 starts against the Angels, he started against them 5 times in 2021. Mm-hmm. He didn't give up more than 3 runs. So I think both starters are going to go pretty well. And if the only way I really see the overhitting is if Houston gets into this Angels bullpen. So I guess that's the way I can see it, but I'm going to be on the under.
Yeah, last season, McCullers 5 appearances, 2-2 record with a 2.56 ERA against the Angels, and like Noah mentioned there, He just had one game where he gave up 3 earned runs. But other than that, it was 2-1. He gave up 2 twice, and then he gave up 1 run twice as well. So it looks like he does have good history against the Angels. So great note there, Noah. Next game on the board, 3 games left on the schedule. Let's go with the Milwaukee Brewers in the desert to take on the Diamondbacks, 9:40 Eastern start. Eric Lauer on the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers. Zach Davies on the mound for the Arizona Cardinals, Arizona Diamondbacks. Looking at the lines for this game, the Brewers are a slight road favorite here at -115, -105 for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Over under set at 8.5 with Vig towards the over at -115. Run line -1.5 +135 for the Brewers and +1.5 -155 for the Arizona Diamondbacks. For this game, let's see here. I will start it off with Eric Lauer. Eric Lauer on the season so far, he is 10-5 with a 3.58 ERA, 129 strikeouts and 51 walks. Last 5 games, 3-2 with an ERA of 3.00. On the road is where he's gotten into trouble. Despite having a winning record, his ERA is 4.15 compared to that to his home ERA, where he's at 2.98. His last start was against the Chicago Cubs, where they did tag him for 4 earned runs in 5 innings. But he hasn't gotten much run support from the Brewers in 4 of his last 5 starts, or at least 3 out of his last 4 starts, where they did give him 4, but then the 2 other games, they only got 1 run each, which was against the Dodgers and the Cardinals. And Zach Davies hasn't been that bad as well for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He is 2-4 on the season with a 3.82 ERA. His last 5 games, his ERA is at 2.39, and he had a pretty solid outing against the Chicago White Sox in his last start, where he gave up 2 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings pitched. And the Diamondbacks have actually won 4 out of his last 5 starts when Davies is on the mound here. So I'm gonna go with the Diamondbacks here. Give me the -105 price here. Eric Lauer, I don't think that he has success on the road. If he was at home, it'd be a different story. But I'm gonna trust Zach Davies on at Chase Field here, where he is better than he is on the road. His road ERA of 4.26, at home 3.26. So give me the Diamondbacks here. Noah, what do you got?
Well, I would say if you take out the 18-2 ass beating that they got by the Phillies, the D-backs have been playing pretty well lately. I like the way that they have been playing. And like you mentioned, Davies does pitch better at home. So I'm kind of with you here on the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm not sure if I really want to get down on the Brewers. And D-backs tend to hit left-handed pitching a little bit better than right-handed. Lauer, a little bit worse on the road. He is a strikeout machine, but the D-backs don't strike out to lefties or aren't really prone to striking out to lefties too much. So I'm not nervous about that. So I like the D-backs money line price here as a dog.
Dylan, what do you got?
I'm all alone. Give me the road team. Give me the Brewers here on the money line. I made them a -130 favorite, so -115. I think there's some value here. Like Noah said, both teams are playing really well. They've won 4 of the last 5 games, but I just think the Brewers have the slight pitching advantage with Lauer on the mound. He gives the team some good length. He's only allowed 4 runs or more 1 time in the month of August. I trust the bats a little more for the Brewers as well. I think it will be a close game, but give me the Brewers to scratch out a close win here on the road.
All right, 2 games left on the schedule here. Let's go with the next game. It's going to be the Padres in LA to take on the Dodgers, a 10:10 Eastern start. Yu Darvish on the mound for the San Diego Padres, and Dustin May takes the mound for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I do see lines. I'm sorry. -165 home favorites for the LA Dodgers, +140 on the money line for the San Diego Padres. Over under set at 8 with juice towards the under at -120. Run line -1.5 +130 for the LA Dodgers and +1.5 -150 for the San Diego Padres. Dylan, why don't you lead us off with this game between the Padres and the Dodgers?
Yeah, this was right on my number, but give me the dog here on the road. I only made the Dodgers a -140 favorite. I need to see more from May. His first 2 starts have only been against the Marlins twice. The Padres, they're a much different team. The Padres, they did just sweep the Giants. They're not playing really that well, but they're looking to turn things around, and I think they're live with Darvish on the mound. He's faced the Dodgers 3 times. He is 1-2, but if the Padres can somehow get some run support, I think he can limit the Dodgers to just a few runs. So give me the Padres to upset the Dodgers here. I'll take the plus 140 price with them.
Noah?
I'm trying to find the series trend, but the Dodgers have completely dominated the Dodgers over the last 2 seasons, or the Dodgers have completely dominated the Padres over the last 2 seasons. I believe the record is like 18-4 off the top of my head. I don't have it in front of me. I don't know how to find it as of right now, but I am not backing the Padres against their big brother. So give me the Dodgers. Dustin May's nasty. He's only had 2 starts under his belt, but he's just gearing up for the postseason. And turn it over to the Dodgers bullpen. They just got Trinan back as well. He's another guy that just his ball dances. So definitely on the Dodgers here.
Yeah, Dodgers this season against the Padres 8-2. And if I go back to last season, Dodgers were 12-7 against the Padres.
So that's 20-9.
Yeah, 20-9. Yeah. Yeah, I think the one thing that really stuck out to me here was a strikeout prop on Dustin May. You take a look at his 2 starts that he did come back from. He had one game where he had 9 strikeouts against the Marlins, and surprisingly, both of his starts were against the Marlins. He had 9 in one and 4 in the other. And I just don't trust this Padres offense to get me enough runs. I mean, since the trade deadline, when they got Juan Soto, there's like 1 or 2 games where they put up, I think, like 10 plus runs, but after that, they really flattened out. And I understand that over the last 2 weeks, they're still number 4. I don't know how in WRC plus, but I don't know. I like Noah said, I think this Dodgers team just owns this Padres team. I'm going to look at a strikeout prop in this game for Dustin May. If that number comes out around, I don't know, 4.5, 5, I think I'm going to be on that over. But yeah, if I had to pick on this side, if I'm liking the Dodgers, I'm just going to take the run line and not bother with the money line for this game for the Dodgers. So -1.5 plus 130 would be my play. And Darvish, I think, has been a guy that has been dominant at home for the Padres, and on the road is where he has struggled. I'm trying to find those splits here real quick before we get to the last game. Yeah, he's 6-2 at home with a 2.29 ERA, and then on the road 5-5 with a 4.44 ERA. But like Dylan said, he does have success against the Dodgers. But again, I'm not sure if I do to trust the bats of the Padres. All right, gentlemen, last game of the night. It's going to be the Philadelphia Phillies in San Francisco to take on the Giants at 10:15 Eastern start. Kyle Gibson takes the mound for the Philadelphia Phillies, and Alex Cobb on the mound for the San Francisco Giants. Looking at the odds for this game, it's -110 on both money lines. Over under set at 7.5 with a little bit of juice towards the over at -115. Run line -1.5 plus 155 for the Phillies, and +1.5 -180 for the San Francisco Giants. Noah, why don't you finish us up strong with the last game on the board here?
Yeah, I believe the San Francisco Giants are like 8 games out of the NL wild card now. If they want to stay in it, they need to take at least 2 in this series. They are on a 7-game losing streak here, and Philly enters 7-3 in their last 10. Pitching for Philly is Kyle Gibson, 9-5 on the year, 4.08 ERA, 114 strikeouts, 38 walks, and 139 innings pitched. He has a 2.56 ERA in the month of August. And then going for San Francisco is Alex Cobb. He's 4-6, 4.05 ERA, 115 strikeouts, 33 walks, and 111 innings pitched. 3.04 ERA in August. The big thing that stuck out to me was that both of these pitchers are very alike. My favorite play here is on the under. Both guys are in great form. But guys, do we continue to fade the Giants here, or do we think that they'll bounce back at home in a big series?
I want to believe that the Phillies are just going to continue to taking care of business. Kyle Gibson actually does have good history against the Giants, despite having an 0-3 record, and this goes back to 2021 season last year when he was with the Rangers. He has a 2.50 ERA, 15 strikeouts in 3 appearances. He hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in any of those 3 starts. He did have a start earlier this season against the Giants, where he did go 6 innings and only allowed 2 earned runs, but unfortunately he didn't get run support in that game, and the bullpen kind of blew it up for him. So as much as I want to take the Phillies here, I think I like your play there on the under here, Noah. Again, I just think that these are, especially Kyle Gibson with the history that he does have against the Giants, I think that he'll have some success against his team. So maybe a first 5 innings money line or run line for the Phillies here is what I'm kind of looking at as we kind of talk more about it here. Alex Cobb, he's been great at home, at least ERA wise. He has a 2.86 ERA at home, but the record is 3-6 at home for Alex Cobb. So I again, we're talking about this even more and more. I do like that under 7.5. So hopefully it gets to 8. If it does get to 8, because there's Vegas on the over for this game, I will pounce on the under here. But Dylan, what do you got for this last game?
I want to address the comments real quick. Brandon has an amazing comment. He said, "Munaf, you have a killer beard and you look like Gandalf from Lord of the Rings." So
he has been throwing out a couple of comments here because good work. Keep up the good work, fellas. Listen to y'all, even if I'm not betting on baseball. Then he comes down again. Usually listening to you guys on Apple Podcasts, but I had to match a voice with the face. I must say that Munaf has a killer beard. I commented James Harden or Brian Wilson fear the beard.
As for the game, though, I do agree on the under. I made my total 7.3, but I tend to agree with the comments, and fading Cobb, I don't know. I'm going to go with the Giants here on the money line here at home. I think you and I, Munaf, we talked about this earlier in the year where Alex Cobb is the kind of a guy you want to back at home and fade on the road. Now, you did mention his record. His record, I don't think isn't a very good indication of how he's been doing. His ERA is really good. His last outing at home was fantastic. 6 innings, just 1 run given up with the win against the Snakes. Now, Gibson, like Noah said, it's the same thing. You got to look at his home and away splits. He's just not the same pitcher on the road than at home. He's faced the Giants already back in May, and the Phillies lost a close one. I think we kind of see a similar game. I know the Giants are a rough team right now to back, but with Cobb on the mound, I think he gets the boys back on track. So I got some faith in Cobb and the Giants. I'm going to take them on the money line.
I think clear tiebreaker could be fit fielder independent pitching, 358. So it's even better than his ERA for Alex Cobb.
Yeah, which kind of makes me just like the under even more as we're just kind of talking about it. And, Dylan, I mean, we just said that, his home record at 3-6, but he hasn't gotten the run support and he's pitched well at home, like 2.86 ERA. That's damn good in 12 starts at home this season. So I think I love the under in this game between these two squads. All right, that was the last game of the night. Let's get into our locks and dogs for this Friday schedule. Dylan, I'll let you lead this one off, buddy. What do you got for your lock and dog?
Caught me off guard. I didn't think I was leading off, but for my lock, I'll go back to the game where I just think Luis Castillo, he's the right side. I'm not going to make the same mistake and take the Guardians like last series. I think the Mariners are the right side. I think Luis Castillo gets his revenge. I'm going to take the Mariners on the money line as my lock. Now, for my dog, I didn't give out a lot of plus prices today, surprisingly. I usually like a couple dogs, but give me give me Munaf's Red Sox on the run line, plus 125 or plus 110. You just got to fade Dallas Keuchel. I mean, do I have to say more? We're just going to fade Dallas Keuchel.
All right, so lock is going to be Seattle Mariners for Dylan, and then his dog is going to be the Red Sox run line, fading Dallas Keuchel. Noah, what do you got?
All right, for my lock, I'm going to go with the Angels plus 1.5 minus 120. And I did that just so I could play this song because I am unifying my dog with Dylan. Go with the trumpets.
Sure. We got to get a soundboard.
You got to get a soundboard.
Munaf, are you going there too?
Am I going where?
Red Sox run line.
I had that one circled.
Let's go.
Oh, you got to do it for the show now.
You got to do it.
I had that one circled as a dog.
Come on, Munaf, do it.
Oh yeah, what did you give your lock and dog already? You gave
my lock is
Angels and
plus
the Red
1.5
Sox
minus 120. Yeah, Red Sox run line
All right.
against Keuchel.
So for my lock, I'm gonna go with the St. Louis Cardinals run line -1.5 against the Chicago Cubs. You know, we talked about how Montgomery has been absolutely fantastic since he got traded from the Yankees to the Cardinals. I know he had a bad start against the Atlanta Braves, but he was running into a hot offense there. Eventually, he was going to regress. And I think that one stat that really stuck out to me was the Cubs against left-handed pitching, WRC plus number 29 over the last 2 weeks out of 30 teams in the MLB. So that's going to be my lock for the show. Cardinals -1.5. For my dog, cue the trumpets, Noah. I feel like I will put a disclaimer out this, guys. I think that this number, by the time listeners may get to it, is going to probably move to a minus price. But if you're able to listen to this and you're watching this on the YouTube stream right now, that number is still at a plus price on the Red Sox run line. So -1.5 plus 105, at least for the show. That number is still at a plus price. When we put up our graphic, it'll be there, but I will probably at that point then have to put up a different dog. So at least for show purposes, I will ride with the guys. Red Sox run line here as the dog for the show.
We're going to move the lines. I swear we are.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
That's perfect. We just need to keep it up. Hopefully it's going through the mic. You guys hear it fine?
Yeah,
right?
I can hear it.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll find a way to get that into the pod somehow.
All right, so that's going to do it for this edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast. Hey, we got the trumpets going, but I think another play that we really gave out, that 7-1 on the Chicago White Sox to maybe come back and win the AL Central Division, gentlemen. AL Central Division. So if your book has it right now, 7-1, 8-1, sprinkle a little bit on it. TLR out indefinitely. Maybe the Chicago White Sox make a run. But Dylan, anything else going on for this weekend? I know college football is kicking off tonight, or at least week 1 is kicking off tonight here. But what else you got for us?
Yeah, Mets just scored another run, so we might hear the trumpets again. So we're up 4-2. It'd be nice to take 2 or 3 from the Dodgers, the best team. 3 plays in college football for tonight. Can't wait. And I think I wrote down 36 plays for this weekend, but
wow,
I probably have more
for CFB.
Yeah, there's like 100 games
that's
on.
Too many for week 1.
No,
hey, if you're winning,
go all in.
Yeah,
if you're winning,
football is back. Noah, anything else before we get out of here?
All right, one, I'm going to start it off with this. Hopefully, Pitt wins. I'm decked out in Pitt gear, but West Virginia is going to cover that number. It's going to be a very, very close game. I know people are probably going to listen to this after, so I'm not going to talk about the game. I guess for me, it's Miguel Cairo is going to lead this White Sox team to destiny. They're going to the playoffs. They're winning the AL Central. And if you want a college football lock from me, it's going to be Michigan State against Western Michigan. Somehow they're only -20. Mel Tucker is like 6-0 ATS non-conference. So it's basically just a lock. And Western Michigan lost their star quarterback, Ellaby, their 2 top receivers in Jalen Hall, who transferred to Western Kentucky, and then Sky Moore. So this is just Michigan State running all over them.
Yep. And as we say that, the Mets put up another run, 5-2 now for the Mets. I know Dylan and I had that as a dog of the day for us. So
this is a Mets podcast.
This is a Trumpets podcast. So let's conclude it there, gentlemen. We will be back in some form or fashion for the Saturday games, a turbo episode. So definitely look out for that. Hopefully we can close out this week strong and start the new month on a strong note on MLB. So till then, good luck with your bets. Let's break these books off and let it ride.